Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
All right, folks, here we go. We got the SRA guys here tonight, the Blitz series trucks. Hot Atlanta. We're under the lights. No, don't turn up in your TV. It is definitely a little bit dark, but we got lights out here. These guys should be good to go. Atlanta style, and it's going to be an interesting race here. Got a guy up here in the booth with me tonight, though, man. First time I'm up here with me. Will, how you doing?
I am doing wonderful, Joe. How are you?
Doing good, man. I tell you what, we got these trucks in Atlanta. And Atlanta, man, I tell you what, it's going to be one of these, it's a fast style track and can be very interesting.
Yes, high speed drafting or super speedway style S track. What New Atlanta is, it's been this way now for a couple of years now since the repave reconfiguration. They added a couple of more degrees of banking to it, so that's also what helps with the super speedway S. A more smoother repave, and now thanks to the iRacing update just a few days ago, or I think it might have been a week ago, Joe, lights at Atlanta again. So whenever whenever they reincorporated Atlanta with the repave and reconfiguration, they took away the lights. Now they brought them back. So ain't that wonderful?
Yeah, and I remember, if I'm not mistaken, I think Corey out there, and I know he's race controlling here tonight, and I know he's probably listening. If I'm not mistaken, we did a series one time, and they forgot about that, and it went off into the evening, and guess what? By the time we got the race done, these guys were out here pitch black. And it was just crazy style racing.
I think that happens to at least one league at one point or another. It happens to the best of them. They kind of forget sometimes what tracks have lights, what don't. It can happen.
Well, here we go. Blitz series been a good series so far. These guys out here at SRA, I've enjoyed it. Getting the feel for it. Get a good field out here. Looks like 20 machines. Looks like Robert Morrow. Always mess his name up. He's going to come out on pits. Didn't grid, but
Robert.
He's going to come on pits.
Robert. Yes, I always would pronounce it that as well, but it's Amaro. But yes,
Amaro.
Either way, he as long as you get it out there, that's what I always say.
You know what I'm looking at here, man, Will?
Yes, sir.
How much lighting did they put up here? Because it is still dark. I mean,
yes,
and we got to talk about that because that could be detrimental to some of the drivers here tonight. Yeah.
It looks like at least 70% lighting.
That's what I'm saying. How is this going to affect the drivers here as we go green flag here tonight in Atlanta? I mean, you got to get up there and push and shove a little bit. Obviously, if they go a long green flag run, they'll get kind of spread out. But yeah, this is going to be
like
kind of treacherous racing.
Yeah, if I had to guess, a lot of cloud cover here. We're not really seeing any moon or stars. It looks like really almost as if it's the night the Titanic sank.
Blame Thomas.
So
Michael jumps out to the lead right now. Raymond there with him. We got Blaze, Lear, Witt. That's the top five. We got to talk about old Paul Witt. Last week, though, unfortunately, probably a race he wants to forget. He started out really well. Had a good running truck. Has dominated a lot in the Blitz series. But last week, not so much. That track just did not do him any favor.
What track was last week? Joe?
Kentucky. I had to think about it for a second.
Kentucky. Man,
yeah, he was
that's
dominating.
a heck of a mile and a half.
Yeah, I love that track there.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. Me too. Kentucky, a heck of a track. Coleman'sberger, he's a fellow competitor I'm aware of who has raced in multiple leagues I have got to call. So a handful of these guys I have either known or got to call their races or raced with them. Michael Allen, for instance, Dell Rapp. I've known those guys for years. George Rincon as well. So
nice. Heck yeah. And like you said, man, right now it's just typical of Atlanta. With the repave, it almost looks like just pretty much a draft style, but that's the first of it. As you can see, they're racing pretty hard up front right now, side by side. But, as this race goes on, you still got to worry about the biggest thing when we always kind of talk about draft packages, draft, style tracks and whatnot. And nothing's like Talladega and Daytona where tires, you can get away with not putting on 4 tires throughout the race. Here, you're going to have tires eventually because it's going to chew them up.
Yes, because of the tighter radius width of the corners here. Talladega, Daytona, Daytona's a little bit more tighter, but not as much as Talladega, where you can kind of let the tires rest a little bit in the corners. Here, they're more compound. There's more load to the car, or in this case, it is a truck. So a lot more load in the center of the corners with the speeds they are carrying here. Yes, tires can come into play. I saw it happen, I want to say last week, back-to-back Atlanta races I had to call, and you could really see the difference in the handling. Riding on board here with Paul Witt in the 429 truck, who is, I thought he was going to leave the door open a little bit for the 09 to get in there on the outside lane, but he swooped down onto the bottom now. He's leading that inside lane.
He is, and that's I just wanted to go on board just to see, because I'm curious to see how much visibility these guys have.
Oh, yes, sir.
Because from what we're looking on the outside, it looks very dim. I go on board here, it's not so bad. as we go on board. But man, from the outside view, and I guess maybe the overcast obviously is playing a lot of factor into it too. But like you said, Witt out there taking this thing to the inside, going in front. Raymond's there with it. I always say Michael G because I'm last name up a lot, so I just go with Michael G. But he's out here too, so not too bad from the cockpit here. Visibility, not as bad as I thought it would be.
These trucks, though, riding on board in that cockpit view, you and also get to seeing a couple of them already. You get to see how the aero disturbance, the draft plays a big part in these trucks bouncing around, so to speak, or moving around a lot. That's the air really doing that. That's not really this track, because Atlanta, this repave, like I just talked about at the top of the show, it's pretty much brand new, so it should be as smooth as a baby bottom, you know. So
a lot of the movement, like you said, is the air, and with the draft, you'll see it with like a Talladega, Daytona, guys behind it. Now, I've talked to a lot. I mean, I've done some with a lot of pro drivers, and you're going to hear different things about that. No, can't you keep that thing straight? Can't you do this and that? Hey, look, these things bounce around. They're trucks. They're heavy. It is what it is. You're out here flying some good speeds.
now there are a couple of bumps still left over from just years gone by, and how the just you know, even the repave, you know, you're still going to have that one bump or two that, you know, you still can't ever get rid of because of the foundation, right? So, you know, it like you said, a lot of that has to do with the air, and sometimes it can be a certain driver's steering settings, whether it be, you know, his actually steering wheel settings, or it could be what he chose to put in, you know, it's a fixed setup, right? So you can control your steering ratio and brake bias, a couple of things, but that steering ratio is really one thing that can make the car or truck turn a little bit more wider or tighter that you have control of. But Paul Witt and Raymond there leading their lines respectfully here. This is some great side-by-side early goings here. 10 laps complete out of 100, and fuel mileage has to be talked about here if they keep going green like it looks like they're going to be. You know, drivers told us what was it, 30, maybe 32 laps, so
give or take.
Gonna see
I
a
always
couple
get
of pit
curious
stops
as
for sure.
who tries to push it. That's my thing. I always curious the guy that pushes. Yeah, the guy that tries to go out there, and then you know, this is one of these tracks here. We gotta watch as the race goes on. I said, well, they're getting awful dicey up front. As the race goes on too, you got to look at, is track position going to be king over tires? I'm going to go out on a limb and say track position is going to be king over tires and stuff, because this place is so hard to pass. I always talk about Auto Club. I refer Auto Club a lot because I say the Auto Club effect. That track is so much new tires almost. If you're so far back, you're not running the leader down on those tracks.
Right. I agree with you. But once you bolt on, you know, if you do a kind of an undercut strategy, if you're only maybe 5 seconds back and you pit, and if that leader stays out, you know, a little bit longer than he needed to, you might be able to run him down to at least a second, right? So
yeah, a lot of it depends on when they do it at the end of the race. They might just run out of time. I've seen it happen a lot. You know, I talk about it a lot. Right now, these guys up front, you know, we ran on board with them. What's that?
Yeah, I was just going to say something like you said, some people that may go a little bit longer. I'm assuming that it could be like people back here a little bit further, like Lane, Allen, Line, Colemansberger, Dawkins, and maybe even Melton, because just they're almost a second off this big pack here. They're trying to get a little bit of separation, but everybody is still up here. Everybody's still connected. One big pack, pretty much. There's only 2 1/4 second separation here. So still, everybody's still on top of each other here. All 20 trucks still rolling.
And you got to look. I look at the lap times a lot. I talk about that, what it takes to actually pass somebody. I mean, and when I say pass, I mean just to go just right on by them, not take about 2 or 3 laps to get around them. Right now, everybody's in the 30s all the way through this field. I mean, the last ones ran a 46, 49, somewhere in that area. so it's close. You're not going to see anybody right now come from the back and just fly to the front. Not at this track. You're going to need some help. You're going to need that pit strategy, and might need a caution.
And the more trucks you have in either lane, that's the help. That's the beneficiary. We have seen the outside lane be so crucial here in the past, but that was really day racing. I haven't really got to see a lot of night racing because it hasn't happened a lot because, like we said, lights wasn't really a thing until recently. So this is the first night race at Atlanta I've got to spectate, and it seems like both lines at the moment pretty equal. You're not really getting one better than the other, but normally during the day races, the top line seems to be more presentable, but also, like we just talked about, it has to do with which lane is greater than the other as far as car count, truck count goes.
And track temp, too. The being a night shot race,
yes, sir.
This place here, and I race in a couple of, it's probably been several updates ago. They implemented what they call their temper system, which has changed a lot of how these guys drive and how the track reacts. Different parts of the track now actually get cooler, hotter, depending on where the lane is running and whatnot. Almost kind of like what it is in real racing. And I always say iRacing the realest thing without going spending millions of dollars to go real racing. So they implemented that. So that's why you see a lot of tracks now that I was familiar with when I raced. One being Kentucky because of one of the races I used to I first won on. But some of these tracks now, they are different lines. You might say, oh, that's a top dominant track. But now the inside lanes have been, are valuable. They can actually go down there and race on them. Exactly.
Yes, sir. So like you talked about, it used to mainly just be, there was grooves all over the track, but especially after your tires would wear out, that top side would probably be more dominant, or some people could really do the Harvicking line around all the way on the bottom. Unless you had fresh tires, you could make any lane work here. Homestead is really what has became if you want to race old Atlanta, that's kind of the almost like the sentiment now. Go race Homestead. I'm a more vintage fan, Joe. I like old style, old school type of stuff. So whenever someone says old Atlanta to me, I'm thinking of the actual oval Atlanta, not the quad oval configuration that was done in '97. I think of the red and white Atlanta wall from the regular high banked Atlanta. I don't think of the one that's got the dog leg, or like I said, the quad oval on the front straightaway, because Atlanta's another one of those tracks that used to have two pit roads on the back straightaway and the front straightaway, and it's another track that has been flipped as far as the back straightaway used to be the front stretch and so on. So there you go, more useless tad bit information.
Yeah, and you go back to they used to talk about the harsh surface. Not so much here. This used to be a really tire chewing style track. Not to say that it doesn't chew tires up now, or that you're going to have to worry about them. But you can see right here with pack style racing, and as smooth as the track is, yeah, it's a fast track still. It's what we still call it Hot Atlanta. I mean, it's still going to be fast. They're going to be here and with the trucks. With their draft package and with obviously their aero, you get this more exciting style racing as opposed to, let's say, the Xfinity car or a Cup car, where they might be able to break out just a little bit. Now, again, Will, if we get some green flag stops, obviously this pack's going to split up just a little bit. Been good. I mean, just from what we're seeing, our view, it looks dark, but just from what we were just looking like right here, not too bad what the drivers are seeing.
Like I said, it almost looks like there's some cloud cover, or like you can't really see any stars or moon out there. Normally there's at least some type of moon out there in the iRacing world, but there ain't nothing. And it's almost like I said, some heavy cloud cover, overcast, because all you really seeing is the stadium lights.
I almost put the rain on us here tonight.
Yeah, like you said, we're closing. What did you say?
I said, did Thomas put the rain on us here tonight? They got the rain implemented here in iRacing now. I don't think they do it. I don't think they do it.
You can't get rain on ovals.
I don't think you can do it here with these cars, but imagine when they do. I'll be like,
Yeah, you got to get racing to a certain distance, or like all of a sudden it just a downpour at lap 40 out of like 150. Like,
Oh, crazy.
I would
Everybody's
have
being really
I
patient.
would
This is
have
what
a
I
golden
talk
goose.
about. What's that?
Oh, I would have a golden goose at that point if rain started. If I was leading the race or like fighting for the battle for the lead, and all of a sudden it poured. Oh man.
Be awesome.
But yeah, like you talked about, patience. It's something you need. You need a strong-willed, patient mind on these super speedway races, especially if you're going to be with a tight-knit groups, 15 to 20 people, basically on each other here, and no really room for error. Like, we've seen a couple of like wide moments or somebody go a little bit wider or up the hill, but nobody really pounced on that or jumped on them at that moment. So a lot of give and take. Still haven't even got to the halfway point, but we are just a quarter a way through with this race, Joe.
We are, and I always talk about when we talk about the patience and we talk about any draft style. I mean, this is not 100% like what a Dega or Talladega or anything like that would be. I always take this as like, I call it textbook drafting. You see like maybe a half a hood back. So the guys are being patient. Now, take this thing to the last lap, forget about it. They're going to try to put their nose up to the radiator, to try to push that guy in front of them. So all's fair and love and racing at that point. Bump drafting, you definitely don't want to do it in the turns, through the tri-oval. Not yet, anyways. Again, the last lap, you tell that guy hang on because you pushed him for his life. But, I mean, here you'll see it on the back stretch, you can see right there. But you see him back off going to the turn because that's definitely some dangerous territory.
What Van Leer is doing, he really wants a little bit to his end, but still wants to give some pushes to Del Rap there in that 52, but he doesn't want to push him off-centered. Off-centered would be too far to the left. You can push him a little bit to the right, but you want to get him either centered or maybe a little bit to the right, but not too far to the left.
End up hooking the guy.
Exactly. So you got to be careful, like we saw earlier with Paul Witt. I think he just got aero tight and he kind of walked up the track. Might have been slight contact there as we switched over to the chopper cam. But
pit stops here.
Yes, sir, pit stops. It
Raymond,
like,
Blaze, and Allen, the first one to come on pit road. So,
thank you, sir.
Now it's kind of curious to see who next is wanting to come here. Who stays out the longest. Pit strategies always is a thing that, obviously I don't have. Well, here comes most of the field now, but I don't really have. I really don't know. I just kind of take it as I see it throughout the race. Let's here go with Paul Witt and see what. I always talk about this too. Will mental mistakes. Now, I love road racing, and on road racing, there's a lot of areas you can make mental mistakes. On oval racing, the number one place is pit road and your pit stop. Overshooting your pit box, getting in and out of pit road, speeding. We've seen it in real life. You can win or lose races with a pit stop.
Yes, pit stops, whether it be overshooting your pit stall, going long like I just said. You didn't get in there properly some way or another. You didn't get in the box properly. You got to take time, back up, do something to where
Allen only took 2 tires. That's interesting. He's doing the now. Something interesting that the viewers out there might not know is they only have 3 sets. They have 4, which is the set they start with, but they have 3 sets afterwards. So when I say he took 2 tires, he's taking this as, my first one here, I'm going to skip this one because you're going to have to skip a couple of these and not take 4 tires every time. You see a couple other ones like Jordan Young right there and Lear. They also looks like they only took maybe 2 tires or whatnot because they got 9-second pit stops is what I'm looking at. What's up, Guardian? How you doing?
Yeah, those 9-second pit stops can only mean one thing, like you said, enough fuel and right side tires. And like you say, right side tires, it's just enough time to get in there, get out, top off the fuel. It's not really going to probably.
So we got some guys
handled.
taking the 2 tires
Yeah.
strategy here early. Let's see how it
Yeah, and
pays
that's-
off here. If this what I'm seeing, I don't know if you're seeing the same thing, Will.
Yes, sir.
Obviously,
I'm
we're
agreeing
all
with
we're all locked up together here in a pack, which we're going to get spread up here a little bit. But being them locked up, I have not really seen anybody like we've seen like with the old Atlanta getting really, really loose. They could be getting tight. Well, 2 tires definitely is going to loosen that truck up if that's what they're feeling.
No, certainly it will. Those 2
here.
tires, it's not going to even out properly. It's not going to equal out or feel most comfortable, more than likely. So,
Yeah, we'll have to see how well it plays out here. If actually, like Jordan back here's the first one on 2 tires, he is locked up on the draft. So I go back to normally I would say 2 tires track like this might hurt them, but from what I'm seeing so far with the way these things are drafting here tonight, and a combination of probably the track being a lot cooler, the overcast like we're talking about in the nighttime, maybe the 2 tire strategy won't hurt them as bad. Will it be as fast? Time will tell. I mean, I've been fooled before on that quote. But he's holding his own. I mean, Jordan, like I say, the first one there on the 2 tires. Then you got Lear, who is about 6/10 back from the Zane Bailey, who's sitting right there in 6th, and you got Melton with him. So those 2 are hooked up, kind of doing their own drafting. I mean, not too far, but he's not going to lose the draft there, so he should be able to hook up the Bailey. Should be just fine. So the 2 tire strategy here, as long as they don't lose the draft, I think might be okay.
and you see, some of those 2 tire strategy drivers and competitors have actually worked their way, kind of for the most part, inside the top 10. For a couple of them, at least Melton is inside the top 10. He was outside the top 10, if I'm not mistaken, before the 2 tire green flag pit stop there. Pit stop's the great equalizer, I always like to say, Joe, like you were talking about. Mistake-free races really come at, getting on and off pit road properly and well. So at the moment we have, what is that? It is an 8-car breakaway, Jordan, 8-truck breakaway.
Yeah, I see that there. The actually top one, then you got to go back here to Wilbur's. He has actually got his own pack going on back here. Like you said, 7 seconds back. It's a 9th place spot. So the top 8's got their own race going on back here in the back. And that's going to consist of Rincon, Rapp, Thomas Lane. I'm going to just say Jim Cole. I'll just go with that. They're in 13th. And then a little bit further back here, Lane. He's back in 14th. You got Campbell, Williams. So it looks like the big pack is back there in the back. I mean, other than this one up here. And I go back up here and I talk about, you were talking about Jordan. Again, holding his own with those 2 tires.
And like he talked about, with this being the repave of modern Atlanta, New Atlanta, everybody loves to call it. So you're not really, you can treat it like it's kind of Daytona, Talladega, only take right sides every pit stop, or maybe every other stop, take no tires, right? Like the first pit stop, take rights, next time take no tires, or just take rights again. Just keep taking rights if you have green flag pit stops here, because you don't want to waste that time in the pits, right? Like you talked about. Just about half the field had 9-second stops. The other ones were like, I want my 4 tires.
So far, and like you said, those 9-second pit stops usually means 2 tires. And from what I'm seeing so far, as long as you don't lose the draft or fall off pace too far, you should be fine. I mean, look at Jordan right here holding his own along with Lear and company. They're able to hold that top pack and be all right. So you got Raymond right there still leading. And a little bit different than what we saw at the beginning of the race. Everybody now kind of single file. At this point in the race, we go back to just patience. You know what your truck's going to do when you get up there and start racing. Now's the time we just kind of sit back and you want to make it to the end, because you got to be there at the end to win it.
Yes, sir. What I always say is, as long as there's circulating up. There's a chance for any one of those competitors to win as long as you're there at the end.
Yeah.
As long as you're not, say, 5 or 10, a billion laps down, right? Then, hey, you know, if you can put yourself, if you are a lap down, in that lucky dog position, I've seen people, unfortunately, just never get that caution that they need, right? And they had a race-winning car, but things happen, right? So it's motorsport. Anything can happen. Raymond with the lead currently, leading that 8-truck train with G there in the 64 and Jordan Jung Bailey, and like I said, Van Leer. I don't want to try to pronounce that. Almost looks like Brad Kozlowski's last name, but I know it's not. But
I always say Colt Blaze. That's all I do, man. The Blaze.
Colt Blaze.
That's what I do. Colt Blaze. That's good. Sometimes I do that. It's almost like Michael's name. I know they've helped me out in the chat a couple times. I usually just go Michael G. That way I know I'm safe to go on that one. But, we still got this action, like you said. The top here. Wilbur's still back here about 8 seconds off that pack. They're kind of racing single file. We'll see if they want to stay that way or if they want to go double file. Looks like Rapp's going to try to take the high side. He says, I want to try to lead this pack a little bit and see if maybe I can pull this thing up there to him.
Was there someone smoking on the apron the last lap by?
I saw someone go on pit road. That was Mike Allen.
That was Rincon. No, I'm pretty sure that was Rincon, George Rincon there in the 28, I believe.
But Mike Allen was up front. Remember, he was the one that actually had those 2 tires.
Yes, he was.
Let me go back and see if I can find it.
28 seconds. He's almost in the danger zone of going a lap down. I don't know if something happened and maybe they could have had contact, but I just saw Rincon. He was smoking a couple of laps ago, entering the pits. So,
see if I can go back and see if I can find it.
Maybe his engine just mysteriously just let go.
What's that?
I said maybe his engine mysteriously let go or something. That was
he's
weird.
Still running. He's running right now. He's still running.
Oh, yes, sir. He got back up there. Do these truckers have a fast repair in this series, in this league?
Good question. I do.
You're a trip, Joe.
Yeah, that is.
You're like that's a wonderful question here.
Well, I should know that.
No,
as many times I've done it.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah.
But
that's like me sometimes. I understand.
Some of those little things like that, I kind of like. It does look like his motor did blow. I'm trying to rewinding it back, find out what. Oh, okay. Looks like he got contact. Here we go. Watching replay right here. He had help on the back by the 09. Boom! Right in the wall hard. Yeah, it didn't show up crash or anything on my telemetry over here. That's why I did not see that. So, yeah, he hit the wall. Evidently, they do have a fast fix, so we kind of just answered our own question right here because he came in the pits and fixed the truck. So, there we go.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, there's some things that I just like, like a lot of times.
It's amazing how that wasn't a caution.
Well, he kept going. That's why. A lot of times iRacing, if you keep going.
Oh, well, yeah. Yes, sir.
If he
I know. I'm just saying that's like the third Atlanta race.
I don't know if you've ever seen this. I've done a lot of short tracks. Let me tell you, iRacing sometimes falls asleep when it comes to cautions. I've had them. Yeah. Me and Corey has actually did a broadcast. This is no lie. 3 or 4 cars would be in the middle of the track spun, and it'd be a lap and a half before they finally throw the caution. And we're sitting there going, are they ever going to throw the caution? I mean, the leaders are literally coming around, going by it, and we're like, wow. I think the short track algorithm's off just a little bit when it comes to caution. So not so much on the big tracks, though.
Now Blaze is taking that 8 truck. I believe that's an 8, right? To the race lead.
He has.
Almost tandeming here.
Yeah. Right there, Raymond
Just
right
about,
behind him.
Everybody, yeah, I was going to say everybody getting reeled back in there. So just past halfway here, 53 laps complete, 54 complete. So
love it so far. Everybody, like you said before, just being kind of patient out here riding. You know, it's been a good night under the lights, as you can tell here, folks. Tonight, SRA Blitz Series. We got the trucks here. The Blitz Series is kind of like the series that kind of tells how they're going to be with the major style series here that they're going to run in the ILs. So keep up to date on that here for the SRA Sim Racing Association. Definitely check those guys out. I appreciate old Will being up here tonight. And Corey out there, I know he's listening. Got to be, man, race control. He's been kind of he gets kind of quiet nights if there's not a lot of cautions or action on the track. And right now, it's been fairly quiet.
oh yes, I understand now. You guys got race control. That's why there wasn't.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
Corey up there, he probably fell asleep.
Oh,
I give
careful,
a
Corey!
hard
Don't
time.
let that bus hit you.
Right, I gotta go Corey a hard time up there. And
Throw him under the bus, man. He don't mind though.
see, right now we're at lap number 57. We pitted, most of these guys pitted around lap 34, 33.
It's coming up again.
So it is, yeah, it is coming up here. We'll see what the guys.
64, 66.
Yep. I'm curious, the guys that took 4 tires, are they the ones that take the 2 tires this time? The guys that took the 2 tires, are they going to take their 4 tires? I'm going to say that they will.
Yeah,
and
you
then
just-
again, some of the guys that took 4 tires, will they opt to take another 4? Because we go back to what we were talking about earlier there, Will, is you're not going to be able to take 4 tires every pit stop. You're going to run out of a set. Especially if there's caution out here, you definitely would run out. So you're going to, I mean, these guys are going to have to pit this time, and then it's going to be close to whether or not they have to. I don't think they're going to have to pit again. It's going to be close whether they want to pit again or if this is going to be the last time. Obviously, a caution come out. Yes, you're coming into pits, you know. But if this thing stays green like it's going, that's going to be close. So who's going to try to take this thing to the lap 65, 68 mark so that they know they've got enough to go the distance?
I was about to say they need to. Anybody wants to needs to get to lap 68 for sure. If the fuel mileage is truly 32 laps to the good. So, like we said earlier, we saw them go pretty much to that 32 laps. I believe it was 33, right?
Yeah, 34 was the longest one with Chris Melton. Actually, I take that back. Campbell went 35. So we know they can go 35 laps if they want to push it. Most of them, the front runners here we're seeing, went 31, 33. Again, these were
so they just got to get to lap 65.
Yeah, so if they can get it to lap 65. And now, I always like throwing this wrench out there a little bit, is if we get a late caution and a green-white checkered, you got to throw that in there.
Well, so far at the moment, 60 laps complete, and we've been 2 have been.
Oh, yeah, these guys are pretty clean out. I got to give the SRA guys, I mean, I've done a lot of broadcasts. I mean, I've been blessed to be able to be out here doing this stuff. Hey, going on about 8 years now here, Will, and I just enjoy it. I mean, you can just see it. I come out here and I enjoy it. I like doing it. I watch these guys. I've seen some of the best of the best. These guys out here right now, for the most part, pretty clean on the track. Not a lot of cautions that happen. Yes, they are tracks that just breed cautions. No matter how good you are, how bad you are, they just are bad tracks. Atlanta here tonight, I'm going to go out on a limb and say, as long as you use your head, it shouldn't be that bad of a track. And we're talking about pit stops. The front runners on pit road. I'm curious. They took 4 tires. Will, what do you think? 2 tires real quick? Or do they take 4?
Well, you almost have to flip it around and take 4. Hopefully these guys...
Yeah, it's Colt Blaze, Aaron Raymond. Well, let's see. They would have to take the 2 tires. Took 4 last. Let's see if they flip it.
You got to remember, they were the 2 leaders leading every...
Yes, they were.
4, so...
This begs the question, though, whether or not they can go the distance, though.
Yes, sir.
They're the ones that's pitting the earliest, doing the short pit strategy. And let's see, Raymond came out, so they both took 4 tires this go around. Let's see what happens next. Now, here's the interesting. Let's play a little devil's advocate. I like doing this a little bit. Obviously, caution could mess up everything we talk about, as you see up front with Bailey and Young there. The next pit stop here. Guys like that, if they take 2 tires, if they can get far enough out front, they could save a little bit. And even though guys behind them took 4 tires, again, we've not seen as close a pack as this has been, as close as the racing's been as far as times. Nobody's just going to run somebody down. So if they get far enough out front, it might be a done deal because they're just going to run out of time behind them. Again, a caution could always mess that up, as always. There's more pit stops. Now here's interesting. Lear and Young took 2 tires. I'm gonna say they got to take the 4 tire this time.
Yeah, it all depends on how well those left sides are holding up. Like I said earlier, there's going to be some drivers I feel like they're just going to want to take rights, but like we're seeing, it's a mixture of who took what last time. As far as, did you take lefts last time? Okay, well, I did, so now I need 4. That's what some drivers are doing.
It's like he only took 2
opposite.
tires again. Lear did. 12-second pit stop.
Yeah, Van Leer there with the 12 seconds, so...
Bailey also with a 12-second there. Yeah.
Like, the trucks need, 15 and a half, 16-second stops that these trucks normally produce with 4 tires. Some of them can be about 14.6, 14.8, but those, 14, I don't know how you get those. But
there's 2 numbers here that I look at. I mean, you know what? I need to probably give you that link, too, because you actually can. Give me just a second here. But there's 2 numbers I'm able to see right here, Will. One, obviously, the pit stop itself, which we know and we see that in real life when we just talked about it, 12-second, 14-second, 15-second. The pit stop, which is basically them getting on in their pit box and how long it takes the pit crew to actually change the tires and fuel. But there's also one other number that is very crucial because it plays a factor on a lot of times when I say a guy who might have, let's say, a 14.7 pit stop and the guy behind him had a 14.65 pit stop, and you're going, well, how did the other guy get in front of him? I'm about to tell you with this other number. It's total pit time. The time it takes for you to get on pit road, do your pit stop, and get off pit road. And just to give you an idea here, Colt Blaze, total time was 44.23 to Aaron Raymond, who was right behind him at a 44.38. So those numbers are just as important because here's the thing, too. It's interesting. This is what makes it kind of interesting. And why? Well, you're saying, well, wait a minute, Joe. Then that's almost a tenth or so between the two. That they should be split up more than they are. Well, if you look at that number and then you look at the pit stop, Blaze had a 15.07 pit stop to Raymond's 14.77 pit stop. That's why they're still locked up together like they are. Even though Colt had a total pit time better, Raymond was able to make that up on his actual pit stop. So those numbers are crucial, and they're interesting as, we got a crash. We got Thomas Lane crashing. Back here and watch him. He's off the track right there. Well, he's just going to drive it off the track. That's why no caution there. He drove it off the track. Just not have my threshold far enough back to doesn't look like
he just comes out of pit road and pulls off.
Pit road, pulls off. I don't know what.
speeding penalty that he was.
Could be, yeah.
And he was like, "All right, well, I'm done for the."
Yeah.
Yeah, that's strange. That's a head scratcher to me too.
Yeah, my telemetry over here popped up, as he crashed. Obviously, he's off track. That's why now. But, yeah, it just popped up, man, going off. Obviously, Thomas Lane, running here at the SRA, does a great job here with the league. Love some of the SRA paint jobs. I talk about paint jobs a lot, too, Will. Because, a lot of these guys, man, they do an outstanding job when it comes to, their sponsors and so forth and so on.
Yeah, a lot of competitors. I know a couple that make what if paint schemes or like like you said, paint schemes for their own sponsors that they have.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, they outstanding job.
I sent you a link there on the Discord. If you check that out, that's going to give you some. Oh, the back here go crazy. They're getting excited about the race. That'll give you some pretty much about all the information that I'm seeing too right here. Gap, interval, lap times, position, and that pit time that I was telling you about. So it's almost like a live timing type thing.
Interesting.
Oh yeah, gives you a lot of good information out here to keep up with on the track. Best time, last lap, interval, etc. As you see Colt Blaze out front, Raymond there with him. You got Bailey 5 seconds back. So this takes it back to what we're saying. They did that early pit stop. They were able to get out front. We'll have to see, though, can Bailey and company run them down? Folks, I'll tell you what's been a good night here tonight under the lights here at Atlanta Motor Speedway for the Blitz Series here at SRA Trucks. Let's step away. We got 25 to go. We'll take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back here in a few.
And then if you want to, just a little bit about how the foundation helped you.
I was in a pretty serious deal, as most people know about. It's a pretty tough deal, very traumatic for my family. A lot of stuff that we went through that people would never understand. Without the assistance from the Steve King Foundation and several other donors as well, we could have come out of that thing in financial ruin. But it just takes a lot out of your family just to go through rehabilitation, all the medical bills. There's so many hidden expenses and stuff that you would never know about until you actually get involved in something like that. And and even if you help somebody out with 500 or 1,000 or 100, whatever it is, it means a ton to the person, just to be able to live and to get through these things. It takes an ungodly amount of money, time, effort, patience, with the families, the doctors, to be able to get through a traumatic experience. And, with the Steve King Foundation, it makes everything a lot better.
Hi, I'm Blaine Smith, the Executive Director of Team Red, White, and Blue, and I wanted to take a minute just to welcome you on board and let you know that we're proud to have you as a new member of our team. This short video is a way for us to give you an idea of what you can expect from your experience at Team Red, White, and Blue, and also what we expect from you in return. Something that's really, really important to the fabric of our organization is our Eagle ethos. It's just 6 words, but they mean a lot to us, and they guide us in all we do. Those 6 words: passion, positivity, people, commitment, camaraderie, and community are more than just organizational values. They're what we're all about and what we strive to work for in all of our programs and in every single one of our interactions. The next thing I want you to know is that we are an inclusive organization by design. We're open to veterans of all eras, of all ages, branches of service, combat experience, as well as active duty service members, their families, their friends, and just supportive members of the community that come out and take part in our mission. Every single person is important to what we do. All are welcome, and we look forward to seeing you all out there.
All right, folks, we're back here, getting down to the last laps here tonight, and it looks like the pack has been able to close up, so we're going to have a big style race here for the end. Zane Bailey and company, you got Colt right there along with him. It's all the freight train. It looks like, though, on the outside, the 29, that's actually a lap down truck. We'll see if he could play a factor in here, too, as we get to the closing laps. Will, it's been a clean green style race here tonight at Atlanta. But, as you always know, and I like to say, business is about to pick up, run what you brung. It's getting down here to the final closing laps.
It is that pay window slowly.
Lost you for a second.
You don't have me?
All right, I got you now. All right. Yeah, you kind of went
Okay.
quiet there for a minute.
That's weird. Anyway, yes, indeed, that pay window slowly rising a little bit wider as we get just past 3/4 of the way done here, Joe. So it's about to be 15 laps to go at the stripe. And like you say, already some more slicing and dicing is occurring. This may be drivers trying to maybe get all that they can get here, or maybe see what their truck can do here in the closing laps as well.
And we look at it right here up front. You see a good battle going on. Everybody's just still kind of being patient. You want to be there. Then you got this second pack around about 6 seconds back. That's Dalen Wilbers along with there with Jim Coe. He's there along on the back side of him. Williams is there. Hey, what's going on? Go JVL. Not quite sure who JVL is, but
Van Leer. That is Van Leer.
is it Van Leer? Okay. All right. Good deal.
Yep.
Well, Van Leer, man, I tell you what, out front here in the 7th place spot, he's definitely there in that front pack. You believe? Hey, I'm with you. We'll go with it. Until they tell us. VL.
Yeah, that's the. I mean, it's the only other person I think.
It says go GVL. But
well, yeah, GVL, like that's his initials, ain't it? VL,
Well,
like GVL.
His first name
Van
is
Leer?
L.
Oh, never mind.
But it could be.
That's
You
not
could be
him,
right.
though.
Hey, wait a minute. It could be, we'll wait and see what they say.
Yes, we will wait and see what Scourge says.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, right now he's running good. Lear is sitting there in 7th. He's got himself in a position where he actually could pounce a little bit. You see these guys just taking it ever so slightly, ever so carefully up front. Bailey out front leading this freight train of a pack. So far tonight's been a good one. Clean. I go back here again to the second pack. And the first truck a lap down is going to be Anthony Lane back at 13th place spot. Unfortunately, green flag stops. We talked about this, Will, early on in the race. Green flag stops. It separates the pack. It also can put guys a lap down that doesn't want it. And really about the only way that you're going to get those laps back is by caution. Hopefully this thing goes clean and green, but obviously 13th place right there, Lane. He's got Mertz behind him, Young, Rapp, Swalford, unfortunately, all those guys. And then only one truck out tonight, Thomas Lane, right there in the 20th place spot. But meanwhile, up front, these guys right now are hammering it. That throwback to the Davey Allison days there in the 26 machine up front. Actually, that's a lap car in front of him, excuse me. Zane Bailey and a 20 behind him. So that's the lap machine of Noah.
Jordan Jung.
Noah.
Yes.
Yeah, he's out front right there. So this could be interesting here because he could play actually a factor in. You see the other lap machine right there, the 29 machine on the outside. So Bailey is kind of blocked in a little bit. Maybe Colt could sit here and go, I've got some options, where Bailey really doesn't have too many options. He can't go high, he can't go low. So right now he's going to have to be like, look, lap machine, move. But here comes a man on the outside, Paul Witt. He's got him 3 wide rocking.
And he has help from that 64 truck right behind him.
Oh, contact almost. You talked about it earlier. Almost got hooked in the back there. That was the number 6 machine. Almost got a little bit of a hook action going on. Now you're starting to see temperatures are kind of rising on the track. The guys are getting a little hot. You see Paul Witt's pushing. He sees that lap machine. He's going, I'll push you to the front, but at some point I want you to get out of the way because I want Bailey to get caught behind those guys back here, and I want this lead.
Well, Michael Allen, he's fighting to be on the lead lap right there. That is the 20. Yes, that is the 29
Yes,
of
it is.
Michael Allen there.
Yeah, and you
He's
see Whit
fighting
right now.
the-
He's got a good
if a caution-
pusher.
Yes, sir. If a caution was to happen, he would be the first truck one lap down if Paul Witt gets by him. But he's trying not to be a lap down, so then that way someone else could hopefully benefit from that.
Yeah, it's interesting. You got 2 lap machines down low, 2 guys up top, man, racing really hard. There goes the
there
26.
you go. He's,
Yeah, he says, you know what, I'm getting out of Dodge. These guys are getting really racy up here. Don't
yeah,
want
it's
to
under
interfere.
10 to go.
Woo.
10 laps
Nice
down,
one.
or 2 laps down is yes, is
Yep.
the 26. Sorry, had a brain fart.
That's all right. We're up front. Paul Witt, who has dominated the Blitz Series here so far in this one on our Saturday nights here for the SRA. Out front again. He's got Michael G there behind him pushing. You've got Lear along with him, Zane Bailey. Any one of them trucks up there, though, can take this thing. I always talk about when we talk about the plate races, around about 3rd place spot. Definitely. You see the 29. He said, you know, fellas, all right, I tried. Doesn't look like a caution's going to come out. Y'all have at it. I don't want to interfere with the race. Here we go. This sets the stage. You got 20 down low. You got Paul Witt up high. You got 2 3 machines there and a freight train up top.
And we are coming to 5 laps to go here at the stripe. So Paul Witt going to try to maybe do some defensive driving, excuse me there, if he can get another lunge forward. But Bailey on that bottom line gets a push there from the 6.
He does. On the bottom side, got that 6 machine. That's Raymond. He's pushing Bailey right now. G's pushing the Witt up front. Looks like Witt's committed to stay with his dancing partner. I see this a lot of time in the plate races. That top lane gets up there. They get in the front of the pack, and they drop down, and they leave their dancing partner who got them to the show. Right here, though, you see Witt has stayed with the 64 up there on the top. Will he stay with him, though? In a plate style race like this, Will, where it's so close, you don't have to pass the guy. You just got to get your nose in front of him to cross that line.
3 trucks on the bottom. There's 4 on the top. Yeah.
Oh, pit stops.
Oh, yeah. Just
Wow.
no. They are short. They are short. Just like we predicted. They were short. So
the 2 that pitted earlier all night. Wow.
Yes, Blaze and Raymond. They're having to make that final pit stop because they're going to be now that's also going to put into maybe a little bit of concern for maybe a couple of other front runners here. But let's just keep waiting and sitting on the edge of our seat here. Coming to 2 laps remaining out of turn number 4. Paul Witt leading here, that top side. Bailey has really no help on the bottom. He does have help, but it's only a 2-truck tandem.
Yeah, it is, and here's what you was talking about, too. At this point, you pretty much, you made your bed, you got to lay in it. If you run out, you run out. Bailey's making that strong push to the inside, but he needs that 63 tucked up to the back tail bumper of it and make it a tailgate party. He gets a shove into the turn. Here we go. We get to the white flag, and this thing is about to get interesting.
White flag will be waving. Coming out of turn number 4. Witt has a good pusher right behind. Oh, 3 wide, looking... ever so slightly at the stripe, but now
there you go, and there'll be no caution because once they take the white flag, they can kill themselves. Out front, we'll go back and see what happened to those. But here we go, watching the
Michael
battle
G.
up front. Mike G, you said it, man. Lear coming into turn 4. It's going to be a battle, and it looks like, man, on the bottom though, the 60's going to have the help. No, he's not. He got destroyed coming into turn 3 and 4.
Who's it gonna be? Coming to the stripe. There goes Bailey.
Wow. You know what, Will? There's so much pandemonium going on here. And, Bailey's going to get it. Melton's going to come across the line in second. Michael G right there. But we got to let's go back to Paul Witt first. Yeah, let's go back to Paul Witt first. And let's rewatch what happened to him as we're coming here. Once they take the white flag on iRacing, folks, if you don't know, there is no caution. It doesn't matter. It's not like in real race. You see right there, just a little bump draft in the turn. We talked about that earlier, and then just got obliterated. Nothing he could do. Then, coming to the checkered flag, out of turn 4, you see the battle right here between Lear and the 60. We thought them 2 would have it. 60's down low. He had help, but just like that, got hooked right into the wall. Nothing he could do. And Zane Bailey, look at this. He just came flying around trucks. and is going to take it across the line and win it here tonight. I don't know much more to say other than, man, what a thriller.
It was a thriller. What a finish here tonight.
Wow. That right there, I mean, excitement, took it to the line. Awesome run here. We'll get some of these guys up here. And Thomas, if you're listening, you got to bring them up here to the podium again. I can't move any of these guys, but we'll get a talk with the top three. But man, Will, that's plate style racing for you.
It is. No other words but describe plate package, so to speak. So at the top of the show, that's what we expected to see, nevertheless, here tonight as we were opening the show. So
yeah, absolutely.
I'm pretty much speechless with what we saw, man. You would think as much as I do this, I would not be, but man, I am.
Oh, I still been all these years, man, get all excited over stuff like that. I mean, you get up here, you think, it's going to be one of these type things, but you know, you've got to go for it. You've got to push and shove. You've got to do what you can do here and get to that line. I've said this many a times here, Will. There's going to be some guys that are going to come out here happy as ever, and then there's going to be some guys come out of here mad. And then you might have someone going, well, you know, better luck next time. But as always, man, what a race. What a showing here for these guys here at the SRA here tonight. Like I got Bailey up here. Let me bring him down here. I'll get a word with him. Zane, join the booth. You got a copy?
Yep.
Well, wild thriller. I got to go back to the lap before there. You know, you were in the back. Did you think that you even had a shot at this? And then when you saw everything kind of erupting in front of you, did you think you was going to be able to make it through all that mess?
I mean, yeah, I knew I had a chance. But yeah, I'm surprised I didn't get taken out. And when the guys were wrecking in free, on relative, it said that they were 3 and 4. So I thought like second or first place already went by.
Yeah, you came blowing through there and definitely, man, got this thing here tonight. Tell us how much. We talked a little bit about this track and the repave. Obviously, you know, we still refer to it as the New Atlanta, but I guess now it's just, well, old New Atlanta because it's been around so long. But how was the tire wear here tonight?
I mean, you definitely noticed it, but it isn't like your typical 1.5 miles. I'm definitely glad I took 4 tires at the last stop. So yes, it does make a pretty big difference.
The last thing, how close was you on fuel, if you were close?
I had plenty.
Okay. Well, you saw some guys run out, go pit there at the end.
Yeah,
that's why I
had enough to do a decent burnout, but ran out.
Well, you put in victory lane, thriller, man, ender here tonight. The SRA, you got anybody you want to thank?
Yeah, Thomas, Corey, you for broadcasting, the league sponsors, Network Alliance for Veterans, and Admin Box.
Well, there we go. Zane Bailey putting it in victory lane. Well, I'm going to bring on Michael down here, man. Will, and let you get a word with him.
Hey, Michael, got a copy?
Yeah.
So, a lot of chaos. Pre-race.
Lost you again, Will.
Oh. All right, hello?
All right, we got you back.
All right. Anyway, hello, Michael. So, yes, sir, just an epic caution-free race, but what an epic barn burner there at the finish for that final lap. Tell us about it from your point of view there.
Well, a little bit of an aggressive driving by the 60. It's been a problem for ages. I don't know why I haven't done anything about it, but I'm kind of mad right now. But yeah, I just got taken 3 off of 4. Plain move. Wreck happened in turn 1. Got past that, and it was me, the 60, I don't know who else in the 3, and then got in the 3, 60 drifted up a little bit. Netcode definitely played a little bit of a part in it. and we just wrecked. Zane snuck through and won. Good for him. Good for Zane. Always glad to see him win. He's a great guy in here. Clean racer, always lets you by, so glad to see him win. But managed to limp it home in third. And yeah, great race overall. Caution free at New Atlanta is really good with 2 green flag pit stops. So great job to everybody. I'd say this is a pretty good race tonight for this league.
It was a fantastic race. My first getting to call with you guys, here in the booth. Heck of a race, I'd have to say. Like we just talked about. Throughout, were you just trying to find yourself in the best position? The best type of strategy to have per se.
I'm always a strategy man. Always playing that strategy. Always saving fuel, trying to figure out how I can put myself ahead if I might be lacking at speed. But me and Paul, we were just trying to save fuel, make sure we were good to the end, make sure we had good fuel because you had to save a lap, and got ourselves into the position. And I think if things that went our way, we probably would have been able to finish 1-2. But put yourself in the best position possible, and just a little bit of bad luck will take you. It'll just destroy everything.
Yes, sir. I agree with you. Just pretty much whenever you come up to these races here, Atlanta, Talladega, Daytona, you're making your own luck, so to speak. So it's hard to control what happens to you at these drafting style tracks. Any final thoughts or shout outs before we let you go tonight?
Yeah, shout out to Paul, man. Poor guy. He was absolutely killing it tonight, and to get wrecked like that by somebody who's not even participating in championship points is not good. But all shout out to him. Shout out to Zane. Zane's always one of the best guys in the league. Races here with clean. Aaron, a little aggressive, but he's always the fastest guy out there. And he'll really push get that win. And I think we need a guy like that in our league.
Yes, sir, Michael. Congratulations on the podium here tonight, and best of luck to you next week.
Alrighty, thank you.
There we have it. Well, I'll tell you what, Will, a thriller. We had a lot. We had some good, clean racing, typical plate style, some pit strategies there, and chaos at the end of this one here tonight. I mean, it was a good race here at Atlanta.
It was like I said, it was an outstanding race.
Yes, it was. Well, folks, I hope you enjoyed that. Absolutely. Well, hope you enjoyed that, folks. We're going to leave here at Atlanta tonight under the lights here for the SRA Blitz Series trucks. For myself and everyone, have a good night.